What's going on, y'all? Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way in. Hit the like button on your way in and join the chat. You already know the deal, man. Listen, I am Kenyatta Black, the man who brought you the Yams Appreciation Series and Yams Appreciation Day. I am the man who brought you the Hit 'em Up series. I am the man who brought you the Live with Martin Swartz series, and I am the man who brought you the Big Back Energy series. And as a matter of fact, if you're not following me on Instagram or YouTube, or Instagram or Facebook, you better follow me on Instagram and Facebook so you can keep up with those series. Those series are not YouTube friendly. You know what I'm saying? I'm going in those series. So if you're missing out, you're missing out. And that's a you problem. Alright, so you better come on over to Instagram and come on over to Facebook and follow me there so you can have access to those hilarious series. But anyway, I am Kenyatta Black. Shout out to the Black Squad. Let the show begin.
Black Squad TV was good with you.
Black Squad TV.
Shout out to Black Squad TV, said Prince Ella, aka the Predator Princess, aka the hater with oh my God, man. Y'all are wild.
That ain't my famous quote. My famous quote, you don't know shit about boxing.
What's going on, y'all? Shout out to the Black Squad. You know, let me get these shout outs out the way at the beginning of the show. I usually do them at the end of the show. Let's switch it up. Fuck it. Shout out to Illuminiki Blanco. Shout out to Mr. Truth Logic. Shout out to Eduardo Trinidad. Shout out to Keon Walcott. Shout out to Rodney Coleman. Shout out to William Cockrum. Shout out to Curtis Oliver. Shout out to Pac Bozeman. Shout out to Shell Bell. Shout out to Tommy Diggs. Let me see. Shout out to Ronell Berry. Shout out to Sonny Forey. Shout out to, I think I might be butchering your name, bruh. Shout out to Sonny's husband, Yashard Forey. I think I'm fucking your name up, bruh, but shout out to you. Who else? It's hard to remember so many names, man. It's hard to remember so many names. Shout out to Latrell Smith. Shout out to the Black Squad, baby. Now, in case you're wondering what the hell this is on your screen, we're going to talk about this, man. We're going to talk about this because you fucking D.I.C.A.F.s. You fucking D.I.C.A.F.s. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, as up until this very moment, I said, you know what, I'm going to approach this like, you know, I'm going to approach this as respectfully as possible. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm really coming at the dude. But at the end of the day, man, speaking A, for actual fighters, and B, for actual fight fans, real fight fans, we are about sick and tired of you fucking D.I.C.A.F.s. You dumb, ignorant, casual ass fans. Now, if you that's a little boxing slang. You know what I'm saying? That's a little boxing slang, D.I.C.A.F. That's what we call you dumb, ignorant, casual ass fans. We actually had to come up with a fucking acronym for you people because you just won't shut the fuck up. So, D.I.C.A.F., in case you need the definition, D.I.C.A.F., pronounced D.I.C.A.F., is an acronym coined by boxing YouTuber Dante Williams. Its meaning is self-explanatory by what the acronym stands for. Dumb, ignorant, casual ass fan. Casual boxing fans who don't know what they're talking about because they lack the understanding of the nuances of the sport and or its politics will usually be labeled a D.I.C.A.F. And then at the end here, it says, however, this adjective can be used to describe fans of other sports and genres. I respectfully say no. We boxing fanatics, we have our jargon. You fanatics of other sports, go get your fucking own. Okay? Come up with your own shit. This shit is for dumb, ignorant, casual ass boxing fans, okay? Get your own fucking jargon, right? But look, yeah. And see, here's why we're going here today. Let's just look, man. I came across this bullshit here. Here we go, folks. One Mr. Jalen Bossway said, a boxer who is merely technical is unlikely to be able to beat a guy with a significant size advantage over him in a street fight. Mr. Bossway, I respectfully say you have proven yourself with this statement alone. You have proven yourself to be a fucking D.C.A.F.s. Are you out of your fucking mind? First off, let's just talk about what you said here, bro. A boxer who is merely technical. Okay. So now, reading what you're saying here, the way I take that is, okay, let's take the guys like a Roy Jones Jr. or a James Toney or a Pernell Whitaker or a Floyd Mayweather or a Muhammad Ali. Let's take those guys who literally came out the fucking womb with hands. Those guys who came out the womb with a natural God-given ability to whip some ass. Let's take those guys out of the equation. A boxer who is merely technical. Okay. Fundamentals. He knows how to throw a jab. He knows how to throw a cross. Knows how to string his punches together. He's got good footwork, but his footwork is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 type of footwork. Basic footwork. Mr. Bossway, you pretty much just described every Mexican fighter that's ever lived. You pretty much just described every European fighter there is, with the exception of some Russian fighters and some Ukrainian fighters. Because, European fighters especially, European fighters are very technical. They're very fundamental. They don't even pivot the way we pivot. And, based on the statement that you made, Mr. Bossway, you probably don't even know what the fuck pivot means, goddamn. But your statement, Mr. Bossway, is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I am 5'9.5". Sorry, ladies. I know you still love me though. I am 5'9.5". Now, miraculously, for years, man, I mean years, I was trying to gain weight. My metabolism was such that I just could not gain weight. But finally, over the last 2 years, because my ass is getting old, so, my metabolism's slowing down. Over the last 2 years, I have finally been able to gain weight and put it on the way I want to put it on. Last time I weighed myself, I was 204 pounds. But it's a good 204. It's a solid 204 for a 5'9", 5'9.5" frame. Right? I'm not even a professional fighter, Mr. Bossway, but I've been in these streets since I was yay high, and I actually learned how to fucking fight. I'm not even a professional. You put a regular dude in front of me, be he 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", I'm gonna whoop his ass, Mr. Bossway. And I'm not even a professional fighter. You take Gervonta Davis. Okay, no, because you said technical fighter. And again, you literally just named, you're basically talking about every Mexican fighter that's ever lived. You're talking about Julio Cesar Chavez, Mr. Bossway. One of the greatest fighters that ever lived, Mr. Julio Cesar Chavez, was a technical fighter. And as a matter of fact, that actually brings me to a very good example of how what you're saying here makes absolutely zero sense. And is obviously coming from a place, with all due respect, of ignorance. If you can't fight, just say that. If you don't like the fight, just say that. If you're scared of a fight, just say that. If you never had a fight in your life, or you never want to fight in your life, just say that. But you can't be on the internet saying shit like this, bruh. This is crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you're the same brother who did a video, I don't know if that was a year or two ago, in which you were basically saying that a man being able to fight shouldn't be a factor in how we measure a man. Another absolutely insane, completely bullshit statement that sounds like something only a nigga who can't fight would say. Since when was a man's ability to fight not part of the measure of a man? A man's ability to fight, a man's ability to get women, these primitive things, even in 2024, Mr. Bossway, still factor into the measure of a man. But that's a whole nother conversation. We're going to stick to this crazy nonsense that you said here. Bruh. Julio Cesar Chavez. Who remembers the fight between Prince Nassim and Julio Cesar Chavez? You know how they say styles make fights, right? Prince Nassim, very flashy, a very flashy fighter, very quick fighter, unorthodox type of fighter, quick feet. Julio Cesar Chavez, a very technical fighter, a very fundamental fighter. Not all that exciting, you know. He didn't have the Philly shell defense like a Floyd Mayweather. He had the high guard. Nothing special on the surface, especially if you're a fucking D.I.C.A.F., like Mr. Bossway here. You would say that Julio Cesar Chavez, for the sake of the conversation, was a boring fighter. What happened when Prince Nassim, the flashy, quick, flamboyant fighter, got in the ring with the boring, technical, fundamental Julio Cesar Chavez? And these are two professionals, Mr. Bossway. Julio Cesar Chavez made Prince Nassim look like a fucking amateur. As a matter of fact, Prince Nassim fucking retired after that fight. Wouldn't even get back in the ring. Wouldn't even get back in the ring. There was absolutely no reason for Prince Nassim to never fight again. There was no reason. The man was so embarrassed he never got back in the fucking ring. A technical fighter did that to him, Mr. Bossway. A technical fight. And then, you know, at the end here where you're talking about, you know, a dude with a significant size advantage. First of all, that doesn't even matter when you're actually talking about professional fighters. guys like Tank Davis and Floyd Mayweather too, when he was fighting professionally, or before he retired. A lot of these guys of smaller weight classes, they will spar against fighters who are much larger than them in weight class. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I know for a fact you can go on YouTube right now and look up videos of Gervonta Davis, even Devin Haney, and Devin Haney doesn't even have that much power behind his punches in comparison to a Tank Davis, right? But Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Floyd Mayweather, you can go look at videos of them fighting actual fighters, sparring fighters who are much larger than them, and actually backing them down. Gervonta Davis is 5'5", Mr. Bossway. And even in his weight class, he's always fighting guys bigger than him. When he fought Ryan Garcia is like 5'9". And well, actually, no, he wasn't able to do that against Tank Davis. Ryan Garcia likes to try to be a weight bully. You know, he tries to blow up after the weigh-in. He tries to blow up before the fight. He wasn't able to do that with Tank Davis because Davis and his team are pretty damn smart. They put a clause in the fucking contract. He wasn't allowed to do that, right? But even without being able to blow up, he still had a pretty significant height advantage. When you're talking about 5'5" versus 5'9", that's a pretty significant height advantage. But see, the thing you don't understand, Mr. Bossway, is that when two men are fighting, both of those men have advantages. If a smaller guy is fighting a bigger guy, the bigger guy's advantage is that he's bigger. The smaller guy's advantage is that he's smaller. Now I'm going to pause for a second, not only for you, Mr. Bossway, but for the other folk who are listening right now who that makes absolutely no sense to, and they're saying, wait a minute, wait a minute. If his advantage is that he's bigger, how the hell is it that his advantage, the other guy's advantage, is that he's smaller? That doesn't make any fucking sense. It only doesn't make sense because you don't know shit about boxing. The guy who's bigger, his advantage is that he's bigger. The guy who's smaller his advantage is that he's smaller. Now the key is the guy who's bigger, he needs to maintain his advantage. He needs to maintain his advantage. You better stay big. The guy who's smaller, his advantage is that he's smaller. But he needs to maintain his advantage. Stay small. Now, the people who actually know about boxing, people who actually know about fighting, what I'm saying makes perfectly fucking sense. They already understand where I'm going with this, but let me break it down for you fucking D.I.C.A.F.s who like to post bullshit like this online, clearly illustrating that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to fighting. Again, the guy who's bigger, his advantage is that he's bigger. So he needs to stay big. How does he stay big? Don't stick your chin up in the air a little too high. Let me come up under it. Okay. The guy who's bigger, right? Fighting a smaller opponent. He needs to stay big. Just to cut straight to the point, say I'm southpaw, right? I fight right foot forward. So say I take my left and I feint a straight left to the body. And when I feint that straight left to the body, the tall guy takes the bait and he comes down to guard his midsection because he took the bait of that straight left to the body. You just gave up your advantage, big man. Your advantage was that you were bigger. You just brought your dumb ass down to my size now. And that faint straight left to the body now becomes an overhand right to the top of your motherfucking head. Because you gave up your advantage. Now the smaller guy, like I said, his advantage is that he's smaller. But the key is he needs to maintain his advantage and stay small. Mr. Bossway and everybody else who don't know shit about boxing. His advantage is that he's smaller and he needs to maintain that advantage by staying small. How do you stay small? Defensively is how you stay small. When that bigger man throws a punch at you, you don't move your head and your shoulders to avoid the punches. You move your fucking feet. See, a lot of people who don't know shit about boxing, a lot of people who can't fight. Like if you go on YouTube right now, right? Guarantee you it's the funniest shit in the fucking world. To real fighters, everybody that's a fighter gonna laugh when I say this. You ever watch a fucking street fight and notice how regular people seem to forget they got feet when they get in a fight? You ever notice that shit? Like, and truth be told, it even happens to professional fighters sometimes. Where that professional fighter's in the fucking corner, he's just getting wailed on, or especially in UFC. You see it in UFC way more than you see it in boxing. In UFC, you see that guy up against the cage, he's taking all these fucking shots, and it's like, yo, bruh, did you forget you got feet? Move your fucking feet. But you see it all the fucking time in street fights. Because, you know, regular people don't really know how to fight like that. Right? And they don't understand how important their fucking feet are to a fight. So, you again, the guy who's smaller, his advantage is that he's small. And he needs to maintain that advantage by staying small. And the way he stays small is defensively. When that bigger man throws a punch, you don't just, utilize head movement and shoulder movement. No, you use your fucking feet. Don't forget you got feet. Like a lot of regular people do. The way you stay small is by moving your fucking feet to get the fuck away from them punches. Now, between the bigger guy and the smaller guy, likely it's going to come down to which one takes better advantage of their advantages. Again, making this crap that you said right here at the end, Mr. Bossway, bullshit. I don't know, bro. Pick another sport or something. I mean, I don't think you fancy yourself a boxing commentator or, a true fight fan or anything like that. But when you say shit like this, it goes beyond, this is to the point of, fam, you're telling on yourself, fam. You're telling on yourself. What you're telling us is you never went outside, first of all. You wasn't outside like that, bro. You couldn't have been. Because those of us who was outside, we learned at a very early age that this statement is bullshit. We've seen regular dudes knock out regular dudes who were way bigger than them. Everybody who actually went outside, Mr. Bossway, has seen big niggas get knocked the fuck out by regular niggas. What the hell? This is an insane. This statement is fucking insane, bro. This statement is insane. Like I said, man, if you don't like to fight, cool. If you can't fight, that's fine. Far too many men never took the time to learn. Too scared to get hit. Too scared to get hit. Well, a lot of us realizes, honestly, getting punched in the face well, I don't know. I ain't gonna say that because some dudes got glass jaws. But for me, getting punched in the face really don't hurt that much. Really don't. It really don't. Especially if you're talking about fighting regular dudes who don't know how to throw a punch. I mean, seriously, go on YouTube and you'll see the bottom line is most men do not know how to fight. And that's another thing. Most men don't know how to fight. How could you possibly say that a boxer who is merely technical is going to be unlikely to be able to beat a guy with a significant size advantage in a street fight? First of all, Mr. Bossway, are you not factoring in the fact that, okay, you're taking this boxer out of the ring where he is confined by rules? Okay? You're taking this boxer out of the ring where he is confined by rules, and you're also taking the gloves off, literally. Usually when we say, I'm taking the gloves off, that's a figure of speech. In this scenario, no, you're literally taking the gloves off of this boxer. So not only are you taking this boxer out of the ring where he is confined by rules, you're actually taking the 8 or 10 ounce gloves off of his fucking hands, and he's putting his bare fucking knuckles on you. Let me tell you something, man. A 5'5", 140-pound. We don't even gotta go. Let's go to the extreme. A 5'5", 140-pound technical boxer, Mr. Bosswood, is gonna drop a 6'3", 220-pound regular guy with a single body shot to the fucking ribs. Fight's over. And a lot of people will make the argument, as I saw earlier, some people will make the argument, well, if this guy rushes you or tackles you, on the cement, it's game over. Well, first of all, what did I just explain a minute ago? And if we're talking about a fighter, a actual fighter, a boxer who has boxing IQ, especially if he's just a technical fighter, a so-called just a technical fighter, which I think is like, okay, you tried it, but yeah, them technical fighters are some bad motherfuckers, Mr. Bossway. Julio Cesar Chavez was a bad motherfucker. Jose Luis Castillo was a bad motherfucker. Okay? Manuel Marquez was a bad motherfucker. You literally are basically throwing every Mexican fighter into the ring with the technical statement. And Mexican fighters are some of the best fighters on earth. Honestly, I would say Mexican fighters are the second best fighters on the fucking planet behind foundational black American fighters. And Mexican fighters are the technical fighters that you're talking about. Like I said, man, you take again, with that scenario of trying to tackle somebody and, implement the good old-fashioned ground and pound. Well, like I said, first of all, you're talking about a fighter who's got fight IQ. If he's finding himself about to have a physical confrontation with a man who he clearly sees is much larger than him, he already knows exactly what the fuck I just explained about maintaining your advantage. He already knows to maintain his advantage. His advantage is that he's small, and how you maintain that advantage is moving your feet. And also, I guess what needs to be explained is every fight starts on your feet. It doesn't start on the fucking ground. So point being, well, you got to tackle him first. You got to tackle him first. And even if you watch the UFC, right? And a lot of wrestlers in the UFC have a lot of success. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But like I said, every fight starts on its feet. How often do you see, in the UFC, for example, how often do you ever see, a fighter who's more of a wrestler going up against a fighter who's more of a striker, as they put it in the UFC? How often, again, every fight starts on its feet. How often do you ever see a fight go to the ground before the striker is able to land a few punches? Of course, often it will go to the ground. That's where the wrestler wants the fight to go. That's where he's going to feel he has the advantage over the striker, obviously. How often does the fight go to the ground before the striker is able to land a few punches? Point being, it's only going to take a couple of punches at the most for this technical fighter to put this regular fucking guy who just happens to be bigger on his ass. So how quick is this bigger guy gonna be able to just bum rush and tackle this actual fighter? Fights usually don't go down like that. Fights usually start with a little bit of talking. Somebody says something somebody didn't like, or did something somebody didn't like, and a few words get exchanged, and now we got business, right? So sticking with the norm, this bigger guy probably isn't going to be able to just get this fight on the fucking ground immediately before this actual fighter has a chance to throw a few punches. It's probably not going down like that, man. Probably not going down like that. Like, fam, this is crazy. This is a crazy statement. And I was trying to think of something that was, something crazy that would be the equivalent of this, but I couldn't think of anything. Really. I mean, just, I guess simplistically, if you want to just, throw something simplistic out there, this is like saying, oh, you know what? Okay. That's like saying Tim Duncan would be unlikely. That's like saying Tim Duncan is unlikely to be able to beat a regular guy who's 7'3" in a game of one-on-one. Because Tim Duncan was Mr. Fundamentals, which is basically, the equation of a technical fighter who is a fundamental fighter. I'm sure you would never say nothing that crazy, Mr. Bosswell. I'm positive you would not say that Tim Duncan in his prime would be unable to beat a regular guy off the fucking street who was 7'3" in a game of one-on-one. I'm pretty sure you yourself, Mr. Bossway, would concede that that is an absolute crazy fucking statement. A ridiculous statement. Likewise, this shit that you said here is equally as fucking crazy. Jesus Christ, bro. Like, I can't believe there's people who think this shit, man. I can't believe there's people. And see, the crazy thing is, like, this statement right here tells me that you are one of the people, which is most people. You could watch an entire fight and not see half the fight. You could watch an entire fight, Mr. Bossway, and miss half of the fight. Now that sounds like an illogical statement, doesn't it? But it only sounds like an illogical statement, Mr. Bossway. Hold on. It only sounds like an illogical statement, Mr. Bossway.
You don't know shit about boxing.
Apologies, I didn't turn the fucking microphone back off. What I was saying was, you don't know shit. You don't know shit. Mr. Bossway, you don't know shit. And then I said, rest in peace to Roger Mayweather, the original Black Mamba. Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant too, but we got to give it up for the original Black Mamba, Roger Mayweather. May he rest in peace. Then I said, let me explain what I was saying about how you could watch a whole fight, Mr. Bossway, and still miss half the fight. You could watch a fight from round 1 to round 12, Mr. Bossway, and you would still miss half the fight. And this statement that you made here proves it to me. And all the real fighters and all the real fight fans gonna feel me on this one. I'm sure you, Mr. Bossway, because since you don't know shit about boxing, you're pondering right now. How the fuck? How in the? Well, let me say it like you would say. How in the fuck? What is that? That doesn't even make any goddamn sense. How could I watch an entire fight but miss half of it? And then he specifically said I could watch it from round 1 to round 12. I do know enough to know that boxing matches are in fact 12 rounds. So if I watched the fight from round 1 to round 12, how could I possibly have missed half of it? That makes absolutely no logical sense. It makes perfect fucking sense, Mr. Bossway. I had to say it like you. You know what I'm saying? I had to, I don't know, make it more relatable to you, right? Here's how, Mr. Bossway. This statement that you made tells me you don't know shit about fighting, you don't know shit about boxing. So I know for a fucking fact that you could watch a whole fight and miss half of it. Because if you're not paying attention to the feet, when two fighters step into that ring, and I've even noticed it in the octagon, it's not so much of a beautiful, it's not like watching beautiful poetry in motion in the UFC. But in boxing, if you're not watching the feet and the jostling for position, the back and forth between two boxers who are both exercising their boxing IQ and playing a game of chess with one another, and the footwork and the placement of the feet being monumentally important to all that. If you're not watching the feet, you are missing half of the fight. You see, 95% of people, D.I.C.A.F.s, like yourself, watch fights from the waist up. Real fight fans and fighters, we watch fights from the foot up. Again, if you're not paying attention to the feet, you're missing half of the fight. This statement right here tells me you could watch a whole fucking fight and miss half of it. Sipping on my Moscato. But I'm sitting out here next to the boardwalk. So I put my Moscato in my coffee mug so it looks like a brother just, sipping some French vanilla or something. Hell nah, nigga, I'm getting buzzed. I'm getting buzzed out this motherfucker. I'm about to run to the store and get some Patron Silver, as a matter of fact, because I have another video that I want to do about paternity fraud and DNA testing at birth. I think I'm gonna try to direct that video toward the younger viewers who've recently stumbled upon my platform. The young guys, right? I plan on doing that video later today. I wanted to be able to knock out both of these videos today and get them uploaded today, but daddy duty and husband duty called, and family first, right? But yeah, man, Mr. Bossway, stop saying crazy shit like this. Stop saying crazy shit like this, my dude. This is fam. No, fam. No. I don't know who you got over there on your platform, because I see you doing your thing, trying to get a social media platform off the ground, like me, myself. But I like to think that I have a few people in my circle on my platform that would pull my coattail and say, hey, bro, I don't know, you kind of tripping with that statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people like, now, see, everybody on my page can't do that, because you fuck around and get cursed the fuck out in the comment section, because I might be on some who the fuck is you type of shit. But there are people like Illuminati Blanco, Mr. Truth Logic, Pac Bozeman, probably Ronell Berry, Rodney Coleman. Off the top of my head, those are 4 people in my circle on my platform who could come to me and be like, hey, bro, I don't know, man, that shit you said in that video, or that shit you just posted on Facebook, I don't know about that, bro. That's kind of shaky, bro. I don't, like, what exactly, am I reading it wrong, or did I hear it wrong? Like, I don't know if you should be saying that. Like, that sounds crazy. Or that was kind of fucked up, or that was taking it too far, or you just tripping with that statement or that thought process. Those are for people who could come to me like, yo, bro, you tripping. And I would actually sit back like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody on my page can't do that. I'm letting you know now. Don't be thinking, oh, well, he said no, not you. Not not you. Those are just 4 people that I could think of off the top of my head that could definitely come to me and be like, yo, that ain't it, fam. You know what I mean? Oh, another one. Curtis Oliver. Curtis Oliver. You know what I mean? You know, those are people who've been around for a minute or been supportive enough or just the type of people that I'd be willing to take criticism from. You know, but making statements like this, I question if you have anybody in your circle that could come to you and pull your coattail and say, hey, you should probably delete that. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe get them squares out your circle, bro. Maybe get them squares out your circle. Get some real riders in your circle. Because I know for a fucking fact, if I posted this shit, I would have a swarm of motherfuckers in my... My own cousin, Justin, would be in my fucking comment section like, nigga, you tripping. If I posted this shit, I could not post this shit right here and get away with it, bro. I couldn't. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. Even just from what I saw earlier, when I posted this picture and said I was going to do a video response to it, even just based on the comments that I saw in the comment section, if I had posted some shit like this, I would have had a swarm of people in my comment section going in, especially especially the hate watchers who never comment on anything until they have something negative to say. Right? If I posted this shit, oh God, I would get eaten alive in the fucking comment section, man. I would get eaten alive. How is it that you were able to post this? And you know what? I'm not even gonna say that because I did not see the comment section. I didn't see the comment section of this post. Somebody else actually shared this post, and that's how I saw it. Forget the dude's name. Somebody actually shared this post, and that's how I saw it. And I did not look at the comment section. But just the mere fact that you actually posted that leads me to believe you don't really have people in your circle that's gonna check you or tell you when you're tripping, pull your coattail and tell you, hey, chill out with that one, bro. Nah, that ain't it. You sound crazy. Sound like you never had a fight in your life. Sound like you can't fight. Sound like you scared to fight. Sound like you never went outside. Sound like you was hiding up under your mama's skirt all your life, all through childhood and shit. Or if you did have a fight, sound like you never want to fight. And again, I have to bring up the fact that I do remember. Can't remember when that was. I don't know. I can't remember if that was a year or 2 ago. It was a long time ago. I do remember coming across a video of yours where you were pretty much saying that the measure of a man has nothing to, or basically saying that a man's ability or capability of being able to fight has nothing to do with the measure of a man. And obviously that was so long ago that I obviously cannot remember verbatim what you were saying. But you were pretty much saying that, you know, we live in a civilized society You know, it's 2020, whatever year it was. You know, it's 2024, and you know who's really fighting like that, and blah blah blah, bruh. Even in 2024, even in this civilized society in which we live today, there will always be the primitive things, such as a man's ability to fight, a man's ability to attract women, a man's ability to sleep with as many women as possible, will always be factors, not the end all be all, but factors in the measure of a man. And that is not going to change. It's not going to change for you or anybody else who can't fight or can't get bitches. Okay? That shit is not gonna fucking change. That shit is not gonna change. Every time somebody can't do something, they want to try to move the goalposts and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't fight, so that shouldn't count. You can't get bitches, so that shouldn't count either. It's like, no, bro, you know, or you're broke, so a man's money, you know, shouldn't be a factor in the measure of a man as far as the male hierarchy. No, bro. No, rules don't change. The rules are in place for a reason. The rules are in place to set male hierarchy. Those are things that go into the measure of a man so we can figure out where each man goes in the male hierarchy. But again, that's a whole nother conversation. That was just a crazy fucking statement as well. Goddamn. This one here certainly takes the cake. But yeah, man. I'm gonna end this right here. I am Kenyatta Black. Shout out to the Black Squad. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Deuce.